Francis Morris. Do you have any stories on Gorilla Monsoon when you worked for the WWF in the mid-90s?
Well, I don't have any stories per se about him. I do have some stories about him when he was in Puerto Rico because I didn't know this till much, much later after the Bruiser Brody incident. I found out that Gorilla Monsoon owned points in that promotion. I didn't know that. So one night I'm sitting in the dugout. Gorilla Monsoon is sitting right there, and he's white. He had a big cigar. He's sitting there, and we're watching the matches. And he's a friendly enough guy, but I didn't know that he was one of the owners. And I don't think I said anything bad. I may have about the booker that was in the ring at the time, but if I'd have known that, I would try to have gotten to know Gorilla Monsoon a little better. I knew, and he also had points in the old WWWF. He had points in there. So, and talking about the Brody incident, I did some more research on it, and what I think was the root cause of the incident that night was that Bruiser Brody was going to pick up the percentage points that Gorilla Monsoon had in Puerto Rico. Because, he had enough to do working for Vince McMahon Sr., Vince McMahon Jr., and so he wanted to get rid of his points in Puerto Rico. Brody, I think, it's uncorroborated, of course, but I think he was going to pick up the points that Gorilla Monsoon had. Now, how do I know that? Because Victor Quinones, who eventually started another company in Puerto Rico, he knew Gorilla Monsoon from New York or Boston. He knew him up there, knew him since he was a kid. And he was a good friend to Brody and a good friend to Gorilla Monsoon. So, and whether that's true or not, I don't know, but knowing these guys, like, I don't know them well, but I think that would be a fair example of what was going to happen. And changing the points, and I've talked about this before, didn't sit well with some people already in that office, and it caused a lot of hard feelings. And that resulted in Bruiser Brody's death.
With that being said, so obviously you did share the WWF with Gorilla Monsoon in the mid-90s. Was he just not there very much at that point?
He was an announcer. Let me say that. I never really ran across him that much. He was there. He was there at TV, and he was there maybe in the production truck. But as far as him coming through and saying hello to everybody and talking things, he never came through. I mean, he knew who I was. I knew who he was. But, I never got to know him personally. I knew his son.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you mean Joey Morella or Victor?
Yeah. Victor's not his son, but they say he's his son.
Well, that's what I was going to say. There's many rumors that he was his son.
Yeah, there was a lot of rumors that Victor Quinones was the illegitimate son of Gorilla Monsoon. Now, illegitimate means, well, he was not married to the woman, not to the mother.
Out of wedlock.
That's it. But Joey was his legitimate son.
No, he was adopted, Joey, as well. He was his legitimate son, but yeah, Joey was his adopted son.
So he's not genetically his son.
No.
Does he have any genetical, real kids? Or no? Do you know?
It depends if Victor's his kid. I don't know. As best I know, Joey was adopted, and he died in '94 in a car wreck.
Yeah.
With downtown Bruno. Harvey Whippleman was in the car with him.
I didn't know that either. I may have known it, but I didn't realize it.